You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Well, could you tell me just how dangerous, very dangerous is?
The most dangerous snake in the whole world. That dangerous.
I know it. It all sounds like some bad movie.
Why, hello out there. Scott, how are you?
What?
What?
Hello?
You are a cheeky little bastard.
He's a cheeky little bastard.
I ain't I can't help it, but the whole time I'm watching this, I'm just thinking, that's enough! I'm just thinking Baron Munchausen is just, for you, dear, a diamond. That's all I'm thinking of. The whole movie. Even though the movies are, 7 years separated?
Oh, but a lot happened in those 7 years.
Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they did. You cheeky little bastard. He is a cheeky little bastard.
Anyone that doesn't recognize our stirring renditions of Oliver Reed there, this is episode 175.
Wow. No.
What episode is it?
Let's keep trying.
No.
You're a co-host, God damn it.
Yeah, but I like do like the background stuff.
You do. It's episode
176.
178.
That's what I said.
Don't be cheeky.
And this episode, we're reviewing the 1981 lukewarm thriller Venom.
Oh, it's a new style of terror.
If new style means sitting around waiting to be bitten, then yes.
Yeah, it's a whole new style.
Now, No
wonder why Tobe Hooper left.
If you look on the screen, I did get the Venom novel that the book is based on. I mean, that the movie's based on.
Wow. Is that Klaus Kinski on the cover? Oh, no, it's just a generic... Okay.
No, this is a 1977 first printing. The film came out in 81, so it's not a novelization tie-in.
Is that a floppy disk in the book?
No, that's a bookmark. That's the
thing it looks like it looks like a floppy disk from here. All right? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Deny me that doesn't look like a goddamn floppy disk.
That does not look like a floppy disk.
It looks like a motherfucking floppy disk.
Anyway, I got the book, but I got it too late to read to compare to the movie. I'm only 40 pages in, so unfortunately I can't do that much retrospective as far as what's different between the two of them.
Okay. I think nobody will be disappointed.
No, I don't think so.
Although I will say the IMDb page has probably the most trivia I've seen for any fucking movie that we've reviewed yet. For a movie that we can't find anywhere. We had to pay to watch this on fucking Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of trivia for this.
Well, the three main things that draw the trivia to the film is 1, Klaus Kinski,
right.
2, Oliver Reed, and 3, Tobe Hooper.
Right, who left after 10 days over creative differences.
Creative differences being that Klaus Kinski and Oliver Reed harassed him until he cried.
They poked him until he said, "Stop it."
Oh, well, I mean, I talked a little bit about this with you earlier. I think we were talking, and the main thing is that the reason we're reviewing Venom is because we did Poltergeist, the remake, and the original. There was always that controversy about Tobe Hooper not directing it, and I brought up the fact that before Poltergeist, he had 2 other films that he left prematurely,
right.
Didn't finish directing. Venom, of course, being 10 days or 2 weeks.
10 days.
And now Oliver
Which
Reed,
I read that the director Piers Haggard, I believe his name is, said that none of Tobe Hooper's footage is in this cut of the film at all. He didn't use any of it.
I also remember I did read one quote from him as well, saying that the Snake was the warmest actor on set.
That's right. I read that too.
Yeah. Now, I mean, Oliver Reed alone is, if you're just doing research, the new way, which is just the Google shit, there's a couple of stumbling blocks. One is the fact that Venom came out in 1981. 1981 is also the year that the band Venom released its debut album. I think Go to Hell.
Yeah. It really made it difficult to try and find anything for this.
So any search you do at all for Venom 1981, you're getting a lot of heavy metal stuff, 90s, 80s metal rock, metal band shit.
Well, because I can't find the film anywhere. I mean, literally, even though it was released on DVD, it's nowhere. I've mentioned before that I work in a library system. 80 buildings, not a single one of them has it. I'm not going to pay to own this, even if I wanted to. I couldn't find it that way. It's nowhere. So I was subjected to try and find whatever video I could get by doing searches, and you're right, all I could find was heavy metal crap and just a handful of video, which is playing in the background.
Right.
But that's it.
Oh, and I just double checked. It is Welcome to Hell was the debut album of Venom, 1981.
Great.
And the cover of the album is a pentagram with a goat's head in it. So
wonderful.
Because
that's right. I do remember seeing that.
Because they couldn't think of anything more cliche.
Yeah.
Now, the other problem is, whenever you Google anything for Oliver Reed, you're going to end up with 500 YouTube videos of him being rip-roaring drunk on a talk show.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because he was a cheeky bastard.
Oliver Reed's just weird. I mean, he's a great, powerful actor. We've reviewed earlier films with him.
Women in Love. That was probably the first thing we ever reviewed with him in it.
Yeah. Now, that was during his heyday. But what happened to him with his career is that he embraced this whole there was a name for it, like laddie life, I think. It was a British version of like rough guys. It was like this. It was this 80s kind of revolt of the male ego in England against feminism and everything. And he became like one of the spokespeople for it, technically. You know, the cultural icons of the chauvinist. And indeed, a lot of the movies, that's right, I said indeed, a lot of the YouTube videos you can find him on talk shows, he's answering questions about, are you a chauvinist? I think there's one where he kisses a lesbian feminist on the show and he gets kicked off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What, they didn't like that?
No. Well, the big problem, and you've got to, please, if you've never seen Oliver Reed drunk on a talk show, go to YouTube and search. I'll post a couple on our Facebook page. But the problem was he wasn't like a Dudley Moore, Peter Cook funny drunk.
Right.
He's a mean drunk.
Oh, yeah. No, he was.
And he's
cheeky bastard.
And he's a big guy. And when he gets drunk, he goes dark.
He's a physical guy too.
Yeah, and there are just so many stories about him just terrorizing people at bars and like friends at his house, just like yelling at their wives and shit. He's horrible.
Yeah, there was a dark spot reserved just for him.
Yeah, and apparently, and I mentioned a bit of this on last episode too. He and Klaus Kinski,
they hated each other, specifically on this movie.
Right, well, from what I read, Klaus he hated Klaus the moment he saw him, and then he made it his job to fuck with Klaus.
Yeah, I remember. I remember reading that the director had said that they were both difficult to work with on this movie. He said that at least, and you take this with a grain of salt, he goes, at least Oliver Reed had a sense of humor. So he'd be hard to work with, but he'd be, proverbially pulling your leg, Oliver Reed, but he'd just be difficult to work with, but he'd have a sense of humor, whereas Kinski did not in any way just give a fuck. He just did not care. He was just difficult.
Well, Klaus is a notorious egomaniac.
Yep.
And that doesn't work well with British, I guess. And Oliver Reed just reveled in tormenting him. There was the one thing I read in his authorized biography where he would go up to Klaus's trailer and just shake it and scream, "Come out, you Nazi bastard!" and he's not German.
Yeah, no, he's Polish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He immigrated, but so he'd like come out like already and then he'd fuck with him during the
or
filming
is he Russian?
too. I thought he was Polish.
He could be. I don't remember.
Now you're making me.
I guess it's all in how his last name is spelled. Ski. Yeah, that should be Polish.
Yeah, he grew up in Berlin, but he's not German. Yeah. And also, like, on the set, there was, like, one specific scene I was reading about where they had the walk down the hall, and I didn't really figure out which scene it was in the film, but they had the walk down the hall, and Klaus is supposed to be the boss.
Right.
And Klaus is supposed to, like, to be in the doorway first, and Oliver Reed would just walk a little faster than him, and then when he get to the door, he'd block him. And he'd do it, like, 4 or 5 times in a row, and so, like, every time, and so in the film, Klaus is this international terrorist they brought in to help with the kidnapping of this boy, and Oliver Reed's the chauffeur, Dave. I love the credit,
Dave.
and Oliver Reed as Dave.
Yeah.
What?
And they didn't have the foresight to call him anything else because there's another character in the film called David. It's like, really? Dave and David? Not that David had a better, big part or anything like that, but just call him something else then.
Well, I didn't see it in the credits, but if you look at the full cast credits, his full name is Dave Aberconnolly. I think maybe the cop mentions it in the film.
Yeah, that's a traditional British name, right? Dave.
Oh yeah, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah.
Now, do you want to give the basic plot of the movie?
Yeah, sure. There's this little boy who has basically a fucking nature habitat living in his goddamn room.
Rich kid.
He's a rich kid, but he's got a nanny, so he's got asthma and whatnot. The mother is contemplating on whether or not she should go, I guess, to Europe to go see her husband or not, but decides to go. And the nanny, Oliver Reed's character, and Klaus Kinski's character, they plan a kidnapping of him for a ransom. And that's essentially the plot. The plot is them planning this kidnapping, and it just all goes wrong. The snake gets out of the box, bites the fucking nanny in the face, which is what's her face from Straw Dogs, which they tease you that she's going to get naked and show her boobies, but she doesn't. Which she is only known for that, so I don't know why they. Now, it's rated R, for Christ's sake.
I did read, and you're talking about what's her name? I just want to get her name.
It's
Sarah?
Sarah or Sharon or something like that.
Sarah Miles.
That's it.
That's Sarah Miles?
I believe it is.
She was in Straw Dogs? You sure? Or am I looking at the wrong actress?
Susan George.
Oh, Susan Sarah Miles George. Is the doctor.
No, it's Susan George.
Never mind. Susan George. Now, Susan George, I read, had the hots for Oliver Reed.
Who wouldn't?
On the set, but she was now. This is the biographer, and I only read a section. I haven't read the whole book, but it said that that she wasn't Oliver's type. I'm not sure what his type is, but apparently that wasn't it.
Apparently, blonde and beautiful is out of the question.
I guess maybe she's too short. But apparently, like she was into him, but he didn't instigate anything on set.
Maybe she wasn't cheeky enough.
Not cheeky. No,
you never know.
I want to mention briefly the kid in the film, the child actor.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah,
it's Philip Hopkins.
Thank you,
Philip.
The actor's name is Lance Holcomb, and I had my fucking notebook and I misplaced it. I'm packing tonight. But what I found funny was that in the opening credits it says introducing Lance Holcomb, which is what they usually do for a child actor, or this is their first film.
Right.
This is not his first film.
Oh, really? What was his first film?
His first film was Christmas Evil.
Oh, God.
Which is one of the Killer Santa Claus movies, just like the one we reviewed a while back, Silent Night, Deadly Night. And so that was in 1980. Venom was 1981. Now maybe they were filmed almost around the same time, but that's a full year of. I don't know. I know the release of Venom was postponed too. I don't think it came out. It didn't come out as late as it was supposed to, or early as it was supposed to.
Yeah, no. I read that Kinski was supposed to be in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that film came out in 1981 as well. So he turned it down to be in this movie because this movie paid more money, which goes with your whole ego. He's just fucking egomaniac. And as he's quoted as saying that the screenplay for Raiders of the Lost Ark was moronically shitty. Really, Klaus? Really?
Hey, I saw Crawl Space. I think he knows how to tell what a good screenplay is.
I mean, Jesus Christ. He turns down Raiders. I mean, and here's the thing, too. It's not like Spielberg was some unknown director. He had already done... why am I drawing a blank? Fuck. The one where the one where the truck driver is chasing what's his face.
Drive?
Not Drive. The fucking Duel. Thank you.
Duel.
Fuck. Today's been a really fucking long day. It's like the day that won't end. He had already done Duel. He had already done Close Encounters. He was working on Raiders, or was going to. So, and he's in the business. George Lucas had already done Star Wars. Empire had already come out. These are all like his best friends. So Kinski to say, no, I don't want to do that one. The screenplay is moronically shitty. Spielberg had already done Jaws, fucking $280 million blockbuster. It's like, it's not like Spielberg was some unknown. He literally took this movie for more money, even though he thought that Raiders was moronically shitty as far as the script goes. It's like, listen, come on, dude. Was this even a best-selling book?
He probably it was a novel. I have it in my hand, first print in 1977. So it must have been slightly popular. I mean, I don't know.
I guess, but a snake running around a fucking a house waiting to bite somebody, which takes forever, by the way. I mean, they get that right out of the right off the bat with Susan George's character, and then after that, it's just, where's the snake? Oh, is the snake here? Oh, he's in the liquor cabinet. Oh, is he here? It's just, give me a break.
Well, yeah, I mean, the weak link to the whole film is that it's about the snake. The film's called Venom. Everything is, there's a snake. Now, I mean, if you take that away, the plot is, it's a kidnapping that goes wrong when Oliver Reed panics and shoots a cop with both barrels of a shotgun.
Yeah.
Because the cop was there to warn them, hey, you guys might have a poisonous snakes. I mean, so the snake is,
Oliver, too cheeky. Settle down.
So the snake's kind of the blame for it going wrong in the first place.
Yeah.
But so then instead of taking him to this cabin that they've rented, they end up stuck in this brownstone, block mansion.
Rented 3 months in advance, by the way.
Yes. In this standoff while there's a killer snake running around the house.
Right.
And so at that point, it just becomes, okay, there's supposed to be the tension with the negotiators and the police and the criminals, but then the snake's supposed to add to it. And there's not much you can really do with, okay, you know what, if you don't look out, this thing might bite you. And they play up the whole idea of it can leap 15 feet and you can't avoid it when it attacks you. But you kind of can. It's a snake. Just stay away from the snake.
Right. Exactly. Just, put something on your hands, put something around your neck, and hope it doesn't go up your pant leg, Oliver. I don't know. In that scene, it's just like he's wearing leather shoes. He probably could have kicked it away. He probably would have bit the shoe, but he probably could have kicked it away.
In his defense, he'd been shot too. So
yeah, but he probably could have kicked it away, or at least tried.
I mean, the snake would have had a bit more of an impact if it wasn't the major selling point of the movie. So you're waiting for this killer stalking around to kill people, and nobody. I mean, spoiler alert, I guess, if you want that. Nobody good dies from the snake. It's only the bad guys.
Yeah.
So I mean,
oh, don't worry. The footage that I have just gives away like every murder or every death because it's the only thing I can fucking find.
Well, there's only 3 deaths.
Yeah, and I have all of them.
Yeah. And they show them in the trailers and stuff. So what else are they gonna do? You know. So now, and the cop that's Nicole. The cop commander William Bullock, who's played by Nicole Williamson.
Or Nickel.
He what?
Is it Nickel?
Or Nickel, I guess. I don't know. Nickel.
I don't know. I love him, by the way. Trained, Shakespearean actor. You know, I don't even know why he took this movie. I read somewhere that he started to do more films to broaden his horizon. You know, the same year that this came out, Excalibur did as well. Because if anyone doesn't know, he played Merlin in that film. But he was, stage actor for years, decades, and probably one of the most famous stage actors ever.
Now,
so his credit, his reputation was huge for that.
Yeah, and I know him from those, but I couldn't help shake that when I was
voice?
watching it. What?
I couldn't shake his voice. I'm just hearing Merlin every time.
I couldn't shake. I kept thinking it was
Or Return to Oz.
What's his name? Peter Firth from Life Force.
Oh God, really?
For some reason, I just kept
I don't
thinking,
have that problem.
That's the guy from Life Force, right? And I had to look. No, it's not the guy from Life Force. It's just like the way he carried himself. It's like that kind of like British cop.
Yeah, right.
Demeanor.
I didn't have that problem. I'm just thinking, you broke what could not be broken.
Well, I'm not an Excalibur fan, so that's.
I love that film.
If given the choice, I'd watch Life Force again rather than Excalibur. So
no way! What's wrong with you?
I don't like the genre.
No, I know you kind of stay away from it a lot, actually. That's why I'm not challenging Excalibur because.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Although you probably won't like my challenge.
Well, that's the point.
We're going to talk about my challenge when we get to it because I have 2. I was settling on one because I know the other one is a lot more painful to watch. That doesn't make it better, but I was hoping for the one. It is available. We'll talk about it. So, so anyway, yeah. I mean, based on a novel, yeah, big deal. Plot. As far as film goes, I don't know how the book, goes beginning to end, but the plot of this is it's razor thin.
Well, I can tell you that it begins roughly the same way, with the minor difference that in the film, Sterling Hayden's character, Howard Anderson, the elderly big game hunter,
right, the grandfather.
Right, and Sterling Hayden is from I always loved him from Doctor Strangelove.
Right, he's also and something I didn't realize until I looked.
I don't avoid women, but I do deny them my essence.
Something I didn't know about him. I looked him up. Obviously, he's from Jersey. He's from Upper Montclair, of all places.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There is one thing in the movie that I noticed that I was wondering if you had either perused the book or read it somewhere. I couldn't find anything for it. The scene where the kid is having an asthma attack, and the grandfather wakes up. He's like, "I'm coming, Philip. I'm coming." And he comes up the stairs and he picks him up. The dub over is horrible. He's clearly saying something else.
It was probably just a bad recording.
Well,
noise or something.
What he's saying as what is on the screen it is 2 completely different things.
Well,
what he's saying, he picks him up, he picks him up and he's holding him and he's like, "All right, just breathe, come with me, we're going to go." And in the actual scene, he picks up and he kind of almost looks like he's howling at the ceiling, like he's yelling something.
my guess, unless
Yeah.
it's like it says something they really didn't want, my guess is that this is obviously a low rent film, especially since it was delayed afterwards and they had troubles with directors and stuff.
Had a pretty big budget.
I'm guessing they had a problem with the audio, and instead of paying to have the actor come back to loop it, they just patched in some other audio that was recorded from a scene they didn't use. That's just my guess.
I read somewhere that the budget was like 10 or 12 million, but I can't find that now. It only made 5 million at the box office.
Yeah, it was a troubled production. Obviously, you're dealing with a Snake and Klaus Kinski.
Yeah.
You know, which one needs more handlers? The only major difference in the book up to page 40 is that Sterling Hayden's character is still an older big game hunter from Africa and stuff, but in the movie it's the kid's grandfather. In the book, it's a big game hunter that the father hired as kind of like a protector for the child.
All right.
For narrative, it's a lot easier just to say, okay, it's a grandfather, so we don't have to explain that for 10 minutes.
Well, yeah.
That makes sense. And the maid was actually older and less attractive in the book.
Older and less. Well, hey, if you got an option to get Susan George in there, you're going to do it.
Or we're getting a Susan George. Anyway. Easy there. Yeah, I mean.
Well, I mean, what else is there to say? We could
spend more.
I mean, we could go through the goofs and we can go through the trivia, but the only thing we're going to keep circling around is that Oliver Reed and Klaus Kinski hated each other and they were both cheeky bastards.
You spend more time watching Klaus Kinski bark orders at Oliver Reed than you do the Snake attacking people.
Yeah, that is the truth.
Oh, and what's with the orchestra music at the beginning and end? The score?
It's very TV movie.
It's not. Forget TV movie. If you were watching this film, if you watched the opening and you had no idea what the film was, you're already assuming, okay, so I'm guessing this boy is going to grow up to be a teenager at a college and he's going to win some kind of triathlon.
His fucking Brian song.
Yeah, it's just some kind. It's just like the Chariots of Fire thing. It's okay. Yeah, this is it's a hopeful, jaunty kind of bouncy orchestra piece, and then we go into kidnapping, snake, death, and then it ends with the same music.
Yep.
Who okayed that?
Oh.
And it's not stock. It was the actual composer who's done a lot of films.
Yeah, I think people in the forums were asking for the score of this movie. It's like, why?
What score?
It doesn't fit the movie at all.
It's the beginning. It's like a couple minutes in the beginning and end, and the rest of the film is just snake vision. Yeah, any movie with animal attacks where the camera takes the POV of the animal attacking, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was bad.
And apparently, according to the filmmakers, a snake doesn't slither; it drags itself across the floor.
Yeah.
When it gets into the duct, it's like shh, shh. What's it pulling itself along? What the fuck? Yeah, you really got me believe this, thinking like strike out at 15 feet.
Right. But it further puts forth my belief, and I think yours as well, that Tobe Hooper did not direct Poltergeist.
I think it cements the fact that Tobe Hooper got a lot of credit for making a low budget film that became huge immediately, and then I think he was immediately out of his depth when he started getting new jobs. Because don't forget, I mean, there's a difference between guerrilla filmmaking, which is what Texas Chainsaw was. I mean,
right.
No budget, but when you're a director on a real film, you're dealing with a lot more. You're dealing with more equipment. You're dealing with more crew. You're dealing with bigger talent. Talent that's not gonna do everything you say, and talent that's gonna be a little less forgiving and more professional. And no, I'm not gonna smear that on my face. Fuck you. Well,
yeah,
really?
I think that's why. Yeah, I think that's why Invaders from Mars is such. It's also a real departure from stuff you've seen him do as well. Mm-hmm. Which I still like that movie, Invaders from Mars. It's a boil. Sure it is. It's just a weird, wacky movie. Obviously, it was a Golden Globus film, and in the documentary, the Electric Boogaloo documentary, they talk about seeing a screening of Invaders from Mars and wondering what the hell that was. It's like, is this what we paid for? Because Tobe Hooper also did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 under Golden Globus, and they didn't realize that was going to be more funny than it was supposed to be. They thought it was going to be more like the original, and he's just like, no, this is the direction I'm going in with this one. It's like, wow.
One
Tobe,
of those guys,
what are you doing, Tobe?
Well, and that's the weird thing too, is you get these guys. Okay, what you're famous for is this dark horror film. It's like, yeah, I think I'm going to lighten up the sequel, make it more of a comedy. It says, and who's telling you this? That's a good idea.
I mean, everything from doing a mock-up of the Breakfast Club movie poster, but with the characters from Texas Chainsaw 2. I always remember it's hilarious. I always remember going to my local video store, which was a Palmer Video in Belleville and Curry Home Video. It's interesting that Tobe Hooper left after 10 days on this movie for creative differences. They bring in a new director who was apparently doing TV commercials, or he had to do TV commercials amidst directing this and just going back and forth, so they were pulling him like taffy to do that. Not that that's any excuse. This film was going to be bad no matter what. Well,
now let's clarify. I wouldn't call the film bad as much as extremely underwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I've seen far worse when it comes to like police procedural or horror or anything. You've got some great talent in the film, underused or not. But again, it's really just, okay, we're locked in a house with a snake. How much can you do with that unless you do more with the characters? And they really didn't get that much beyond, okay, Klaus is the boss, and Oliver doesn't like that. I mean, in the film, too. It's the exact same dynamic, except Oliver's, probably a little meeker in the film than he is in person. So you've got a really black and white character dynamic. They kill the girl off right away, so any kind of like three-way dialogue or backstabbing,
or even like
stuff
lovers triangle, because obviously they were both in love with her.
Yeah, and so that's gone the minute she, okay, so that's not going to come into anything right now, and it just becomes the film can't decide whether it's a trapped in a house with a monster movie or a gotta save the kidnap victim movie.
Right.
And it doesn't really do either. Now, I have no idea what the book does. I'm going to find out this weekend on the plane, but it falls short, and it's just kind of okay. Now I'm just waiting to see what happens. And I mean, and when you've got like Klaus Kinski, whose forehead alone dominates the screen.
You can show a movie on that fucking thing.
And Oliver Reed, who can be a very dominant presence, having them both on the screen, and then there's not enough. They have nothing to work with. They got the same kid. There's only so many times you can terrorize a kid before it gets old. It's like, yeah, the kid's scared of me. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see how Susan George just really wanted to ride the Oliver Reed train, because Oliver Reed, he's not like, he's not a bad looking guy, but he's not like a great looking guy, but he has that stare,
Machismo.
Yeah,
it's called machismo.
Mojo.
Oh, he's got the mojo.
He's got the mojo. Like he's got the piercing blue eyes, but he's also got like scars, a couple of scars on his face. He's just very, I guess, a very powerful guy. I don't know. She probably attracted to that. I could see why. Just because he's always
it's
got
not
that
even
look.
a horror film, but it even has that 80s horror film stain, because at the end it's like, oh, guess what? Klaus kills the snake, but then like at the end, it's like, oh, there's eggs in the furnace. Uh-oh. You're gonna come back at a sequel and then like have 3 more people kidnap the kid and have the what the fuck you do with that? What
Yeah. Just
what
when you thought
could
it was
you possibly
safe
do
to
with
go
that?
back into your house.
Yeah. So oh, there's snakes hatching in the furnace, and they're probably going to die because there's nothing there to take care of them, and there's no food. So, all right.
That's right. No.
Really? What are we fucking doing with this?
All it needs is, just some warmth. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
There was no warmth on that set.
Yeah. Yeah, when your director, like you said before, when your director says the snake was the friendliest or warmest thing on set, yeah, you got a problem.
I hope they got that kid on and off set as quickly as possible when he was doing his shots. Oh, I hope it's like, yeah, no, don't look directly at the actors. Was he as often as possible? I bet he wasn't even in the same room during the shoots.
Yeah, probably not.
No wonder he didn't work after this. Like he only did 3 films: Christmas Evil in 1980, and then he did Venom and Ghost Story in 1981, and then that's it.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
His parents are like, "You're never gonna work with that Kinski guy again."
That kid's like in his late 30s, and he still wakes up in cold sweats, thinking of like Oliver Reed, like shouting at the trailer at 4 in the afternoon. "You Nazi bastards! No, no,
you cheeky bastard!" I'm not cheeky.
It's just not much to go on beyond that. I think we've pretty much set our piece for the film.
I think so. So let's see. What is I think the rating's actually 5.8 on 1,377 users. Now this is your portion of the show that you like, doing the demographic and the age and all that. It's not a lot of votes though.
No, but what would you go, 5?
Yeah, I think 5.
I think this film is the epitome of a 5. It's just
it really
generic.
is.
I'm just going to go with 5. I mean, I'm not even going to argue for one high.
Females aged 18 to 29 really liked it. Maybe it's that Oliver Reed.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, the 2 highest ratings for the film are 10 and 6. So you either love it or you're okay with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the highest demographic is females aged 18 to 29 at 8.8, and males under 18 at 9.
There's only 4 of them, but yeah.
Right, and apparently no IMDb staff have rated this film. So why are we even watching it?
Yeah, exactly. Most of the votes are right down the middle, 5.7, with like 1,500. Not 1,500, like 1,600.
And those are all from the age group that are old enough to have actually seen this in a theater. The people that love this film the most are the ones that had to watch it on Amazon.
Yeah.